Hi everyone, I'm Hajar and I am Data Transformation Lead at Electrolux. I'm just so happy to see you all here, to see that you chose between so many great sessions to come here and hear from these wonderful ladies. Let me start with Electrolux, Electrolux Group. I hope many knows Electrolux. It's a Swedish brand, but for those who don't know, let me tell you just a little bit more. So Electrolux is a Swedish home appliance company in over 120 countries, quite amazing. And it's been there for 100 years, and we hope for another 100 years. But this is why somehow we are here. The future is to be built now. And what can I say? We have three main brands, Frigidaire, Electrolux, AEG, all equally important because our consumers love them. And we've done a lot in the last 100 years, but we are happy there is still a lot to explore with connected appliances, with digital, with data, with AI. And this is why we are here today, because AI has brought something new to this world now. For the best, maybe, for the worst, we don't know, but we have something to do with it. And that's something, it's about experimenting, it's about learning, it's about daring, and we believe here that it is the only way, the good way to embrace AI, and this is what we will try to share with you here today. So to do so, we have three of our colleagues from Electrolux, three brilliant ladies, and I will I will let them introduce themselves with one question. So the theme today for Women in Tech is playfulness. So one easy question: what does playfulness mean to you? Is it easy? I don't know. We'll see.
Vida Ahmadi, I am Data Governance Officer at Electrolux Group, and I'm glad to be here and sharing some experience we had in Electrolux Group with you. And for me, playfulness is the way to explore new idea without fear of judgment and failure.
Thank you.
Is it mine? Hi, I'm Bärlund. I'm head of data and AI products at Electrolux. And for me, playfulness is willingness to make a fool of yourself.
Hi, everyone. Really happy to be here. My name is Laura Day. I am a product director in the digital experience organization at Electrolux. And playfulness to me means actually just leading with curiosity and learning and, fun. I think it's something that I just do in my general life. So, yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I heard about some Legos.
Yes. I live in a Lego store, I like to say. I built a lot of Legos on the weekends. So, yeah.
Wonderful, so inspiring. And I would like to share with you and with the audience also my definition of playfulness. I would not call it definition, it's a little story that I want to share with you. So I was lucky to be in Japan in the last 3 weeks, so I just enjoyed my life while knowing that I should be preparing for Women in Tech. So that was really fun. And I've been visiting some castles, and then I came through this story about a castle that was built in the 17th century. And this castle, it's quite a small castle, but the story is that it was so difficult to build that castle. So many new leaders trying to build it, too slow, everyone was unhappy. And then came this man, quite old man, but I like to look at him not as a man, but as a leader. So he was brought this issue and challenge, and the way he thought he could solve it was through a competition. So what he has done, he split the work between several teams. And he told them, now it's time to complete. We need this to be done. Who will win for their own sections? And the legend, the story, the truth, I don't know. It said that it took them then 3 days to complete the castle. So this is his legend. This is how then he will build his story. He will become the person. His name is Hideyoshi. He brought Japan together. He unified Japan after that, but it started with this small castle. So who knows? Maybe here we have some next Hideyoshis. So let me then go back to something. Not else, it's just that this playfulness, we want to try it in AI, but not exactly just AI for the sake of AI. What we want is really to solve problems that our consumer have. We want to make your life better. We want to shape life for the better. So the question here is to you, how can we make that really useful to you? And the question is quite simple. What's one thing you wish AI could do to make your home life better? So unfortunately, I will not be able to show it here in Mentimeter. The technology isn't allowing us to do so, but I can see your answers. So you cannot see the answers of the others. So I will have some fun just by myself. No, I will share, promise. Ooh, clean up clutter. Any other ideas? Any other needs? Ooh, so many. Safety for kids. Yes. Yeah, this one I want the same. Fold my clothes. I hate it. Oh my God. Do the dishes. Come on, we already have our. Who doesn't have a dishwasher? No. Oh, it's. Okay. Coziness. Oh, now we are about emotion. Yeah, so yeah, maybe AI can help with that. Yeah. So continue answering. We'll come to this later again. And now let us ask a question to our panelists who are here to help us go through playfulness and AI. How do we embrace AI in the best way? And for that, let me ask a question to you, Laura, because we didn't wait for ChatGPT to just start thinking about AI. A lot happened in our appliances. Then, yes, there was ChatGPT, generative AI, and we continued with those learnings and this new technology. I heard about an oven that is able to use that. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, so thank you so much for that. As I mentioned, I work in the digital experience organization, and one of the things that we are working on actually is building an entire system where your appliances get better, not older over time. So the value, we continue to deliver more value, more features, more programs as we are learning from how you're using your appliance. So this is I call this the money shot here, very rich of our oven that we are currently testing with beta users that we have to have really luxe experience. And why I mention it with how it links into AI is that we have a couple of things that we're working on. One feature that's actually already available out to our end consumers through the Electrolux app is something that we call AI Taste Assist. So, how many of you here are ardent recipe followers online? So I want to make something, I Google the recipe, and I go step by step. How many? Raise your hand. Excellent. So this is for you. My sister is also a recipe step-by-step person. So what the team has developed, and over the course of many months and tested and demoed, is the ability for you recipe followers here. You have an Electrolux oven. It's connected. It's online. You come in. We know what oven you have, or the app knows what oven you have. You find your recipe. You post it, the link into the AI Taste Assist, and it goes through, would you like to optimize the recipe now, specifically for your oven? So all of the settings that you have, if you have the steam function, roast, if you have a pyrolytic function here, and then it says, great, now we can tell you, instead of the recipe saying, please cook it at 180 degrees Celsius, we recommend you to drop it down and instead use the steam function and send that so that it actually takes that generic recipe and makes it personalized to the appliance that you have. So that's available today. But just that's one thing, and I can talk a little bit more about what we're doing on the appliance itself later.
It's
But, yeah,
wonderful. And
thank you.
the nice part at Electrolux and in any other company is that we have our products, but there is other and many other departments in which we can still explore and deploy this AI or any other technologies or new ways of working. And this is why we have Anna. There are the projects, but there are also all our people or these other operations that we want to improve. So can you tell us more about AI in our operations?
Yes. Oh, something with my microphone. We are doing a lot of things, of course, on the backbone, how we can save costs, how we can make our logistics more efficient, how we can forecast our sales in a better way, and so on and so on and so on. But personalization as well. But one use case I wanted to tell you about, which is contact center. When generative AI became a thing a couple of years ago, of course, like everyone else, we started looking for perhaps most obvious use cases where we can test the technology. And we were well aware that for generative AI, proof of concepts, they work really well, very easy to create, very fast. But then to bring it all the way to full-scale customer experience, that is a different challenge. But we jumped into trying, and you know, Electrolux has after-sales support, which is you can call an agent and talk to them, or you can reach out through chat, and you get a chat bot first, and then if the answer wasn't good enough, then you get to a human. And I guess you all know how poor is experience with chatbots. And especially when you have a problem, your washing machine is not working right now and you need to do something with that, right? And it can be very, very frustrating. So it's not an easy challenge to reduce number of human interactions. Still, we replaced traditional chat box, or we're in the process of replacing it with Gen AI driven. I'm not going to go into details, technical details. And we can see that containment rate, what we call containment, which is when people say that they got the answer to their question at the end of the conversation, it grew from 0.8% to 10%. So it's a very, very good result. Yet, number of human interactions did not decrease. So speaking of making a fool of yourself, right? Yes, one metric that seems to be highly correlated with the value that we want to achieve also for us as a company in terms of saved cost, it went up, but the other one stays the same. What exactly is happening? Maybe people say their problem was resolved, but then 1 hour later they still call call center, or maybe they feel bad about saying that the problem was not resolved. We have a whole list of different hypotheses that we are now testing to understand where the bottleneck is for the value delivery. But this is where I guess playfulness comes in. We were not thrown away by this result. We are just so curious now to actually find out what is happening there. And by no means we consider it as a failure. It's a journey. And we're like, okay, we now have this hypothesis and let's test it. So that was just one of the examples.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's amazing. It's surprising. Yes, but yeah, maybe they just want to talk with people. Who knows?
Don't we all?
So we still have, you know. So, a question still to you then, Anna. Like we went through IT and digitalization for a while, this revolution, and you know, it was something that changed the business, changed the behaviors of consumers. COVID happened; it was the boom, really, of digital. If there was any company remaining out of the digital world, they came into it. And still now we are starting with this AI journey. I know you don't like me when I say starting because it started really years and years ago, and you are a data scientist from so accelerating is the word, but something feels different. What is it that is different when we compare to digital, for example?
Look, even from my previous experience, I think when we try to run AI projects or products in exactly the same way as we run IT initiatives or digital initiatives, we sometimes find that some of the methodologies simply don't apply, or they yield different result. And I think the reason for that is different level of uncertainty. And it's not to say that all the digital initiatives or IT initiatives are low level of uncertainty, but in my hand, let me take the cooking example, given we started talking about oven. You know, when I cook chili con carne, and I cook a lot, by the way, because I live in a place where food delivery is not available, so I cook quite a lot. When I cook chili con carne, I use a recipe, and I always know what's going to happen. I always know that the outcome will be in line with my expectations, unless I forgot to put it off heat at some point. When I cook something that is called Japanese cheesecake, it's like very jiggly, very fluffy cheesecake. It never comes out right. Or actually, it always comes out different, sometimes better, sometimes worse, right? And I use the same recipe. And I think the reason is there is so much more uncertainty that I don't even know about in techniques, in my oven settings. Maybe if I had this oven, would have been less uncertainty. And I don't know. And that I think is specific with AI projects and some of the other digital projects as well. It's not about putting a shelf on the wall. There are so many components that need to get together, right? And it's not only technical components. There are like, what is the shape of our data? Yes, important. But how exactly can you assess it until you try to put it in place, if it's good enough or not? There are a lot of versions of algorithms that can be tried and applied. But what I find the most uncertain is how the process or consumer behavior will change when it's in place, because we can even adopt, but then they see that it's changing other adjacent things that we didn't think about, like with the call center use case. You know, yes, it drove the first metric, but it doesn't drive the second one, and we didn't think about it, and that I see all the time. And that means that it's very, very important with AI projects and products specifically to go for iterative development, right? To really think of what is this minimum viable product that we want to deliver first, and then build on it. Having said that, let's not confuse minimal viable product with proof of concept. If we prove technical concept that this model is working, performing to a certain level, that's great, but it doesn't tell me that it will deliver the value that we want to deliver. So we need to think through how we build on small scale the whole end-to-end thing, that we maybe not prove that all the steps work, but at least we learn what are the steps that don't work, so that we can then continue investing more and more. Otherwise, we find ourselves investing millions, and what's worse, we find ourselves in organizational fatigue and disappointment when people don't believe in AI anymore just because this first project didn't work well. Sorry, maybe I went a bit too long.
No, it's great. So it's a lot, it has to do with certainty, uncertainty. So a question, very, very serious one. I need you to raise your hand if you are team chili con carne uncertainty. Please let us know a bit the statistics. 0. Who is team chili con carne uncertainty? Whatever. You love it. Certainty or chili con carne? Ah, okay, uncertainty. Oh, so let's go with cheesecake and uncertainty. Who raised the hand? Okay, so we have some that are many in the middle. No chili con carne, no cheesecake. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Difficult question.
like
Difficult to segment yourself. I
Too
think.
difficult. Okay, so with this, it means maybe yes that we need to experiment. And I want to share another story with you because I've been to Japan, but I also been to Falun, and I love each of them equally. I'm not joking. And it was very interesting. I came across a story of this guy. I hope that very soon we'll see ladies there and stories of ladies. This is what I was missing, but still, very, very smart engineer. So there are many engineers, so we can, we are engineers here. And the story is that he was young, he was in Falun, and he came with a smart idea, a very nice machine that he called Nova. He said, this is a breakthrough. And the lead mechanic said, no way, you need to stop. Too many innovations, we need to continue with our operations. And then their manager, we don't know the name of the manager, decided to, test. So he held the competition between the Nova machine and the previous machine of the lead mechanics. I'll let you continue with the story. Nova machine won. And from that time, it was really a breakthrough in Falun, and it was a second generation somehow for Falun, a second era for Falun, thanks to this guy and thanks to the manager who manages the innovation breakthrough. But still, the mechanic continue leading. So it's not about leaving the past. It's just about how to manage innovation, the breakthrough, and the resistance. So A/B testing in, I think, 17th century again. So what about playfulness, gamification, A/B testing in our era, the era of AI? So the question is to you, Vida. I know that we held the hackathon. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and what it brought, or maybe what it didn't bring to Electrolux?
So it's a great match with the theme of this speech and this event. So when we started to think about how we can encourage people to try and dare to try and experiment, it was the moment we came up, okay, let's have a hackathon. And we ran our first hackathon in November last year. We only have 7 teams sign up for hackathon, and we have a 24 hours, and they have a flexible framework. They have to come with some problem or opportunity, then they present the value and the solution they can address that. So it was a simple, still innovative. They can use whatever method they want to use. They have a freedom within the flexible frame. And we got a really great result after 24 hours. It was more diversity, collaboration, people comes with different ideas, and also we got surprised with how people can work out of box. So this freedom gives us the possibility and potential to do the innovation. We'll learn that lesson and people loves it, and the one who doesn't sign up for that also regret it. So we are having another hackathon next month in May, and guess what? 16 teams sign up this time from November to now. So they see how we can see how they can engage. People see the result, and it's not about winning or losing. It's about the idea, playing, and the competitive sense of the hackathon. Bring them kind of competition, start from somewhere, give some idea, and have a breakthrough, and use the experimentation for making some advancement. So I think it was a really successful story for us, and how we can bring our people with a different, diverse background and different way of thinking in the room in a specific time frame to make something happen. And good news, actually, I want to share is one of the solution that has been winner in November is testing in proof of concept. So they got a possibility to do proof of concept, and then hopefully we can move on with our production. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks amazing. And you talk about safety, safety to play, but also, I guess, to fail. So maybe a question to you, Anna, and your personal background and views. Have you ever failed so much, but still got through a breakthrough?
In professional environment, no. And let me tell you why. It doesn't come to my mind. No examples come to my mind, because I think that if the process is set up right, then it should not be big failure and big breakthrough. It has to be experiment that we are setting up in contained environment in a small scale, and then learning from this experiment, which means that if the experiment didn't work, we didn't get our hypothesis, was not validated. It's not failure. It's simply learning and a stepping stone to the next experiment.
Yeah, so somehow it's not about the failing fast. It's just about
Learning
continuously
fast.
learning.
Mhm.
Okay, then yeah, who cares about failing
Yeah,
or
right?
remembering it?
Yes,
Yeah,
but
very nice.
But I think
I
it's
like
also
it.
nice that we celebrate as companies, management, leadership teams. We celebrate when we learn that something didn't work, because sometimes we're too focused on where is the value, where is the value. Wow, that is also value. We know that this is not right hypothesis. Let's move on to the next one.
Very insightful. And when I hear you, you talked about we need a set, and I heard the frame. So still there is something that is needed from the leadership. Like we cannot just expect people to be playful and move forward and innovate. So maybe a question to you, Anna. How do you? No, Laura.
Okay.
Yes,
Laura.
Anna. Laura. How do you envision really the role of the leader in this process?
Yeah, thank you for that. I find is really interesting in regardless of which area that you look in, you start to see that industries, organizations, teams, and even individuals have different risk appetites and risk profiles. So some industries, for example, are much more risk taking, right? I mean, thanks. Whereas like the automotive or aerospace or even the industry that we're in are more risk averse because, we're putting fireboxes in somebody's home. Like this is really important, right? We have safety, all these things, right? So I take this as well to understand where are we from a risk appetite perspective as an industry, then as an organization, and then as teams, and then even individuals. Because me, for one, I am a very ardent risk taker on the innovation. Anything planned, I just live my life as one big learning experience and journey. But I also recognize that all of us in this room are very different places along an innovation adoption curve. There's the 2.5% that are the early innovators. They want to take it, they want to play with it, they have fun. But if you give that very untested new technology to someone who is much more afraid of failure, more on the risk averse, or I would even say more on the late, on the late majority piece, that will most likely cause either the team, person, organization to stress out. I say not my sister, but my mother. My mother is also a very risk averse person, so really way opposite profiles. But I recognize that and where she is, and so I say, okay, great. She needs to know that things have been tested further along and seeing that the innovators, the early majority, the late majority, and then she says, okay, now it's proven enough that I believe that I will be successful because I am on this sector. So I say, that's okay. It's perfectly fine. We all, it's perfectly okay that we are different and different teams are different on this whole adoption curve. So for me as a leader, it's about finding if I need to get that early innovation. Okay, get the people who just want to play with it. Try and break it even. How does it work? How does it not work? And, things and test it out to then iterate their way to the proof of concept, to the place where then they can hand it off to, okay, now we've got something that's, tested enough to hand it off to those early adopters so then they can take it for the next, piece. And so it's about, for me, slotting the right the right teams in at the right moment when we're talking about innovation adoption. So that's how I view my role as a leader in this journey.
I love it so much, Laura. I just wanted to add to that is that I see very often, even at daily job, we get a task and we want to complete this task end to end at 100%, and we take weeks, right? And then we bring it to whoever we were making this task from, oh, but we don't need it anymore, and no one has used it, even internally, some presentation or something, and
approaching it in a more agile manner, that, okay, let me do something fast and then I show it to others and then I do it again. That really reduces the whole mindset. Oh, why are we changing? Why are we changing? Didn't we decide on this 2 months ago? Why are we changing it again? Well, because we're changing all the time ourselves and we should be fine with that. It should not be a point of friction and irritation, but it's a huge cultural change to distill in the companies.
So here we are talking about AI and technology, but at the end it comes to humans and culture.
Our daily work.
Yes, yes. Okay. So we played, we tested, we failed, we learned. We are still at Electrolux and we need to satisfy our consumers. We want a happy consumer, want a happy employee, and we want outcomes and results. So I will ask you some questions to see if there is any secret ingredient after we play to make this a success. And question to you, Laura. What is it, a successful experiment? Beyond failure, I mean.
Well, learnings, right? So everything is a learning journey, is my view. But I'm going to let my other esteemed panelists answer because many of us in this room are engineers, scientists. So it would be like, great, be very data driven, right? So myself included. But on the other side, there is a certain emotional, I call it, wow factor, or job to be done, where you give someone a product or get them to try something for the first time or introduce it to them, and they say, wow, and you see something that has changed in their mind about what they thought was possible, right? And all of a sudden they're like thinking, the art of the possible, what if we could do it like this? So Nina mentioned about the global hackathon in the digital experience organization. We also have hackathons, and the last one that my team we were working on was like an AI bartender, kind of like a fridge buddy who you could talk to after a hard day, and be able to say, oh, that was really hard, and they're like, hey, it's all right, Laura, have a glass of this Pinot Grigio, and by the way, it's cooled down to the perfect temperature for you now, and it pairs really well with that cheese that you have in your fridge, in your other fridge. I'm like, thanks, fridge team, like, thanks for helping me, and just right. So and those things that then you start to think about it, and then you start to like, yeah, like, wow, that could really be something, And then if you could start to say, hey, does that resonate with you? And you start to talk to people. Does that resonate with you? Does that look like, just like what I did before, and I said, how many here are recipe followers, right? And raise your hands. You're like, yeah, there's a use case for it. I can get all the data to make the data driven, but then you just can go and talk around to like maybe 10 people and then say, what does that sound like? And then what does that make you think you do? What else could you do? And then that's the wow, that's emotional. The creativity engine starts going. So that's, to me, when I start to see that, it's like, okay, we've got something here. Let's keep going.
This definitely got something with me, because so many times I open that fridge and I don't remember why I'm there. And if I can just ask, why am I here? Please help.
Right, fridge buddy. Hey, I've got you.
There's
like,
something
I need that
here.
friend.
Yes,
I need that friend to help me in the home,
Yeah, wonderful.
So,
CEO tomorrow meeting. Yeah. Anna. So there is the wow effect. Something else that could help, maybe it's around how we organize ourselves, how we give the right frame. We talk about frame, but project organization could be such a frame.
I think it's not new for most of the audience here, which is product teams need to be focused around problems and not around solutions, right? But it's so easy to derail from this definition, especially when your users are internal. Maybe it's not your consumers, but someone who is working in the company you are building this product for, so that they can improve their decision making, or maybe fully replace their decision making with now agentic AI. And the tendency for subject matter experts to give you precise solution that they want for their problem is overwhelming. it is overwhelming. And then you as a product, which in my mind should be self-sustained organization, they're very limited in experimentation, because when they're told exactly what to do instead of what to solve, how can you experiment? So I think that is one part, which is setting up product organization right around problems and not about around solutions. But now it comes with accountability, meaning that if you're the one choosing solution, then you're responsible for again, I'm like broken record, for value delivered. Before I had a situation in my career when I joined a team, they were making recommendation engines. And they told me, we have this amazing recommender system that has very, very high accuracy, shows great results in performance. I'm like, okay, great. How much value we're delivering for the company with this system? Nothing. And then I start exploring why it's happening. Well, yeah, it's there, but apparently we have a problem with integration with our outbound communication. So it always breaks. So the trust from stakeholders was broken. Emails were not sent anymore. Customers were not seeing the outcomes of this recommendation system. And the thing is, the team that I came into, they felt that their accountability was to create a model, because it was a data science product team, and not to make sure that everything else is delivered throughout until the end of it, right? Because they're like, okay, but now it's business responsibility. They need to make sure. But no, this is not how it works, right? So yes, you experiment, but you know what is that you want to drive at the end of this. There is something else that I observed that works quite well, is dedicating 10% of a team's backlog to open experimentation around the problem that we are solving, right? Maybe one day every 2 weeks, everyone can sort of play with their ideas. And then if they can prove with facts, even in a very small scale, but there is something there, well, maybe we should then prioritize it for the solution improvement.
Yeah. We had discussed around A/B testing, but I think you said something very important. It's all about the value. So how do we measure it? This is then a question around the use case, I would say. But anything you want to add about being data-driven?
Oh, that is such a painful topic for me. Like I get the question. I get when basically to my question about what is the value, I get the answer, but value cannot be measured. Almost every day for the last 10 years of my career, that is what I hear. And the thing is, no, it can be measured almost every time. It's just difficult to measure it. And we don't want to put effort into measuring it. But the thing is, if we don't do that, then it becomes just who screams louder, who is better in advocating that their idea is better. There is no facts we can base any decisions on. So we talk a lot about stakeholder management, which comes down often to convincing people that something is better than worse, they should do it. But how much easier convincing is if we have facts to show that no, your gut feel, what you as a user think is right, is not right for everyone else. So always measuring, but there is something else too. Even if we cannot measure, even if it's really complicated setup, an attempt to measure, thinking how we should set up a test, it solves half of the problem, because we clarify so many things, what is actually we want to drive and what part of consumer journey or our decision-making process, So we still need to go through the process of thinking how the test would look like, even if a test at the end doesn't become successful, doesn't happen, because it helps with defining the problem.
Yeah, wonderful. So insightful. So many things we can do already now in our team. And I would like to give some time now to Vida. And through Vida, we will discuss all these big terms, responsible AI, data governance, AI governance. But I want to hear from you. Is it about boundaries? What is it about exactly, responsible AI?
So thank you for asking this question, because usually we are stay on the hype of AI, and for us it's a black box, and for majority of people it's a black box serving us. So as long as it serves our need, it's good. But something is behind the scene, and as a manufacturing company, our product is going to your home and your safety is matter for us. We are not going to put any AI for the sake of AI in our product because we want to be innovative, and also we don't want to try it in our customer cost. So we want to play, but we want to play ethically. So for us, responsible AI is about having the balance between innovation and ethical consideration. We've set the principle of responsible AI in Electrolux Group, and we are following our principles because these are what people trusting us and trusting our product to bring that to their life for shaping their better life. So we want to be along with our people, along with everyone who is using our product, right? And that's why we earn this trust over 100 years in being in the market. We are not going to lose it by just experimenting AI on our customer. So that's a commitment we have, and that's why we have a responsible AI. When the AI came, when Gen AI came, and there was all hype and buzzword, everyone wants to use AI. We started to build a responsible AI committee. So that was the way addressing that need. So we put some kind of framework in a place that give the flexibility to the people to try the AI within the boundary and not harming. So, when we are talking about home appliance, some harm are not undue. The time doesn't have undo. We cannot take it back. Something happened is happened and game is over. And you can lose the trust in just a second. That's why we don't want to risk it. We are a risk-based company. We have a risk-based approach. That's why we set principles. And for every single AI initiatives we have in our organization, we have a risk assessment on it. We have a value case. So we see, okay, where is the balance between those two? Is it the value worth it, worth a try? And what are the risks? Is it the risk that impacted our consumer journey, or is it the risk impacting our employees? And where is the boundary? So we are using our common sense. Everyone has their own common sense, right? And this is something we came from that. We feel accountability when we are using AI, and for me is every company who are providing some digital or AI powered services is accountable for whatever outcome comes from that. It's not a black box. It might look black box, but the outcome is impacted on people. Sometimes the AI could be biased. The outcome, how we can ensure that we are fair. So transparency and fairness are the big player in our responsible AI principles. And we have the human always in the loop because we need to have the control on the outcome, and it's a continuous approach. So it's not when we are delivering some AI product, we are fine. Okay, it's your AI product, enjoy it. We continuous monitoring the outcome and get a feedback from the users and keep human in the center and in the loop to ensure that we get what we expected and our customer also satisfied. So this is the way we calculate our value.
Yeah, so all about risk appetites and have a certain control on the things that we cannot undo. This is what I
Yes.
do. Okay, yeah. With this in mind, what can we say to conclude? For sure, will you dare to try? Because I really want our girls or in few generation, if a lady like me is in Falun, that this time she sees a lady picture and describe that this lady, she dared and she put some AI, ethical AI, because you know, AI is not to blame. It's whoever is building this AI. So if there is anything you don't like about AI today, think more about the ones who build it. If there is things that inspires you, think also about those people. So maybe if I come back, I have 1 minute. There are so many things I see. Do the dishes, cook, plan laundry, clean up, like a full list of things we need to do. So we have a lot of work. How are you going to deal with all of that when we come back now to Electrolux?
Develop a robot that would do all of those
That's
tasks.
right. That's right.
So this is the plan.
This is the plan. We build Rosie Jetson, right? And she takes
Okay.
care of all that. No, no.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Yeah.
Vida.
Those are really great idea, and we can go through that, and maybe we can share that idea with our hackathon team and see how they can
Here we
come with
go.
some idea and solution,
Here we go.
and then see where we
Yeah.
go, because we want, these are all innovative way of thinking and also helping us to become better. And you know, Electrolux is wants to make the shape the living for better. So each of them are serving human and it's for better experience. Why not?
Yes. And
So-
I heard you, Anna. You said 10% one day every 2 weeks. Right now it's a hackathon 1 day every 3 months. So yeah, we have ways to give some time for innovation. Yeah.
I think on that, this would be actually really interesting to get all of the responses that you all gave to us, and then we just dump it into ChatGPT and say, great, now see what from all of these responses, 10 different product ideas. And then the human comes back in the loop and we start to is there something here that we haven't thought of? So that's also the power of that we can use to analyze massive amounts of data to be able to I have ideas. Now we check. Now we over here. Then we go to the data, then the ideas. So I see that this is all kind of working, the human, the machine together to, make y'all's lives better.
Thank you so much to my three colleagues, and thank you for inspiring us with your ideas, giving us your time, and we hope that we gave some insights around AI and how to embrace it in a playful way. And if you like this conversation and you want to hear more, but this time really focused on data, we have at Electrolux on May 6th a Women in Data event. It's going to be a podcast, but a live podcast, and you can join. There are 60 spots open. We will have also great ladies and professionals from Easy Park, I believe, from Foodora. So please join us if you want to hear more and if you want to meet with us.
If you want to have one-on-one conversations to bounce some thoughts about AI or product or other topics, just feel free to reach out on LinkedIn, and would love to. Thank you.